Hello, my name is Silvia Pavoni. I'm the investment editor of The Banker, and I am talking to Sidney Chameh, the president of the Brazilian Private Equity and Venture Capital Association. Hello, Sidney. Thank you for joining me today in studio.
Thank you for having me here.
You're here today for a briefing on the Brazilian private equity and venture capital markets.
Right.
Now, this is a market that, of course, has been growing for quite some time now, and the association that you represent was founded around 10 years ago. How have things changed over the past decade?
Huge change. Why is that? Because some 10, 15 years ago it was quite impossible to do long-term investment in Brazil. We had at that time 80% a month of inflation. So how to forecast a long-term investment? It was really difficult. Today, with the stabilization of the currency, low inflation, big reserves, today, of course, we are in a much better situation. I mean, the country
Sure.
as a whole. And we, as a country, we added some 35, 40 million people to the consumption market. We took as a country from the poverty line and added to the consumption line. This made a huge change within the Brazilian economy. Now we have a lot of business to back, a lot of entrepreneurs, and now we have, I would say, a completely different world in Brazil. We forecast a sustainable growth within the next 2 decades, due to the fact that we have this very important internal consumption market, and also due to the fact that we have on infrastructure. One hand, it's a challenge. We have to build the infrastructure. On the other hand, a lot of opportunities. And surrounded this island of infrastructure, you're going to have a lot of activity within many sectors. So that's why the Brazilian private equity is it's calling everyone attention.
And we've definitely seen quite significant attention from big funds from the past couple of years. So we had JP Morgan's, KKR's all looking at Brazil and setting up funds and setting up operations in the country. But what are the main challenges in investing and operating in a country like Brazil, which offers clearly many opportunities, but also has, for example, a very high and disparaging perhaps level of bureaucracy, a complicated tax system? So are these concerns that the people that you speak to raise as well with you?
Yes, you're completely right. We have problems with our fiscal environment. It's so complex. The red tape, it's a problem. We have a lot of bureaucracy in terms of opening and finishing a company. We have problems with the labor force. Want to hire someone in Brazil, it's going to cost a lot just in terms of tax. Having said that, we have a huge world of opportunity. Today, there is forecast saying that Brazil, within the next 2-3 years, might be the 5th largest economy in the world. So this is quite important. On the other hand, we have this group of people that just arrived to the market. They are not consuming only products, they are consuming culture. So offer of better education as well. And this is changing the market, the dynamics of the market. And although we have to address a lot of issues, as you mentioned, bureaucracy, the challenge of the infrastructure, again, this is also many opportunities to be addressed.
And clearly this is something that, of course, the government knows really well, and they've started making some changes to try and reduce at least the fiscal burden on some companies. Do you think that they will keep on going towards this direction and that their efforts will bring good results?
I think at least we got the right road. and we are accelerating within the right direction. So this is very good. Meaning what? Meaning the reduction on the payroll that the government gives to the IT market. IT market in Brazil, it's a very developed one. Yes. It's increasing a lot of good opportunities in terms of investments, entrepreneurs. This is very good. And to reduce the payroll taxes, it was very important. So yes, the government is on the right direction, but the speed is not good. Meaning what? Meaning the current expenses of the government is taking investment out of the real sector. So if the government increase their saves, we would have much more money to be invested within the sector to really generate what we generate as private actor industry when we invest. We generate jobs, tax collection, more wealth, and if you added all the items together, this is going to generate long-term and sustainable growth. So this is we need the government to address his part of the equation.
To address the government's weight within the market.
Yes.
What are the other initiatives that need to be taken to make sure that the private equity and venture capital market in Brazil keeps on growing? We said that it has expanded quite significantly over the past decades. What are the latest obstacles to be removed?
One that is clear, it's tax incentive. We are not claiming for any kind of discount on tax rate, but when you consider that, Petrobras, our
Sure.
Brazilian oil company, if you go and trade on the Bovespa stock exchange Petrobras and make money within a week, you're going to pay on capital gain 15%. If you invest in a company through a private equity fund and stay with the company, generate, labors, generate tax, generate all of the social and economic impact that we generate when we invest, at the end of the day, within 10 years, how much are you going to pay of tax? The same 15%. So there is no incentive of invest in the long term. There is no incentive for really small companies that are ranked as mid company. For the really startups, small, there is a much better environment in terms of tax. But for small companies that they are considered in Brazil mid-size company, there is no incentive. So,
so that's a really challenging segment of the market when they get out of the really small stage and enjoy all the incentives and reach to that middle stage, they don't have the muscle to sustain that kind of burden, and they don't probably have the ability to raise money in
and to fill up all the requirements by one. From requirements from the government level, from the state level, from the municipality level, and other obstacles. For this kind of company, small companies, but so-called mid-sized company, bank access, loans, there is no bank access still in Brazil. Of course.
Which is affordable, do you mean?
Affordable, and even without being affordable, you mean in terms of rates, even with a high rate, there is no availability. They don't lend, simple as that, to mid-sized companies. So this is another difficulty that we need to, as a country, to address.
Okay, so there should be a push on the banking side to work perhaps closer to those firms, although I know that they are saying that they are increasing their efforts with that segment. And perhaps a push towards the government to increase the incentives in the long-term investments in those. So, and are you talking to the government to improve these incentives?
We have many initiatives within the association. First, and maybe the most important one, is to show the investors that one can do great return, also helping the environment that they are living. I mean, with the social measure, the social impact that we generate, again, labor and all the things that I've been repeating here, along with good returns. So both together, this is what we are showing to the investors. And as the fixed income comes down in Brazil, and we are targeting, I mean, the economy.
So the interest rates on fixed income.
Yes. Government bonds, yes. As they go down, this is going to create much more incentive to investors to go and back our type of.
So the incentives are going to come from the market itself, perhaps not so much from the government in terms of reducing the capital gain taxes on this kind of investments.
I don't foresee on the near future. I think it's, although we are trying to show the logical need, but we believe, like the IT sector, that they reduced the overall tax over the payroll for this sector. And they are giving one incentive here and there for textile, the shoes industry. But on this issue, capital gain,
it's a bit of a more challenging,
controversial
to discuss.
Yes.
Well, good luck for your ventures, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.